Hi, my name is Dominick Santo. I'm a Baghouse expert and sales manager here at Baghouse.com. A little bit forced into it, so to speak. The company was actually founded by Dave, my father, about 40-something years ago. So we were younger. Working at Baghouse over the summers was always a way to make some summer money, things like that. But as I got older, I started working in some other fields, but eventually in my early 20s, I came to work for Baghouse, originally working in the marketing side of things. But then for several years, I was able to use my skills in welding and machinery operating, working on the installation and service work side of things. And then eventually I transitioned into sales, design, system design, and then now working as the sales manager, overseeing all the efforts of the sales team here. I would say I really enjoy when we can share our decades of experience and specialized knowledge with our customers. For whatever reason, dust collection seems to be one area that many plants, they just never find a way to get good training or education to their people. So a lot of otherwise very capable, very intelligent people at all these facilities we go to, they just don't have the training and the skills and knowledge needed to run their systems effectively. And that's why it's often a problem at most plants and often a sore spot for them. So I really like when we can take our experience and knowledge and help the customer learn how to improve things themselves. Not just tell them this or that, but explain how things work, help them reason on it so they can figure out their own solutions later on and operate things better. So when we do training or when we work with customers on troubleshooting a problem or designing a new system, I really like that part of where we educate and help them to learn and understand their systems better. Oh, I can think of a few different funny experiences. So one of them would be when we were working at a plant that ended up being one of the largest producers of nuts in the world. And of all the things that I love, the one I don't love is pistachios. And who should be one of our largest customers that we work on that I literally get to jump into piles and piles of it? Pistachios. Another one that's interesting, I'm always amazed when we find customers that, for whatever reason, a lack of knowledge or whatever, don't take seriously the dust collection systems. I remember one time I had a customer we visited that made things out of wood, and during the system audit, we pointed out that they had a return air duct that came in, and they had a kind of homemade after filter assembly built on top of it. And when I pointed out that this was a fire and explosion hazard for the combustible dust, I actually had one of the maintenance managers tell me, but why would it be a fire hazard? It's just wood dust. And that's kind of when I realized that they had bigger problems going on at that facility, that they didn't understand or have the knowledge that wood dust was combustible. So that kind of made me step back a little bit. Another experience, I guess it's not a single experience, but I remember when I first got started, as a young person, my generation, a lot of our generation really don't know much about working in the trades, industrial processes. At least all of my friends that I grew up with, everybody ended up being in a white collar position, things like that. So for me, it was very interesting the first couple of customers we went to learn just how much of the world relies on this other kind of non-spoken, unexplained part where everything's made. So in my first year or two working, I got to see factories where guitars were made. I got to go to coal power plants. I got to go to cement mills, big cement kilns. I got to work at one of the largest steel mills in the world. Also one of the largest aluminum facilities in the world. Seeing all of those different things from the backside really was interesting, and just I found it fascinating. I continue to find it fascinating when we go. A lot of times I feel like the little kid going into the chocolate factory, just looking up with my eyes, being amazed at what's being made in there. And I have to usually pull myself back and remember I'm there to look at a Baghouse. But it still surprises and amazes me until this day. So some of the most common things we find when we go into plants are usually the overlooked basic things. One thing that is so common, we always keep it on our template for reports because there has never been a plant that we've gone to where we hadn't had the need to explain it and write about it, is the differential pressure monitoring on the baghouses. Almost every facility we go to, the differential pressure, there's some problem with it. Either the gauges are damaged, or the plant is not reading the gauges regularly, or the readings that they're getting are inaccurate because they don't do regular maintenance to maintain the clean air lines, the dirty air line going to the gauge, or things like that. So we almost always have to do something to explain how the gauge is vital to have in good condition at all times, and how we need to have those readings be reliable and trustworthy. So we have to do regular troubleshooting on them. Because it's always the first question we ask when we go in is, okay, well, what's the differential pressure? What has it been? What is the differential pressure when this happens? And a lot of times they might have numbers, but I can't really trust them because they say they never clean out the air lines, or I can see the gauge is old and full of water, or they don't write it down regularly. Related to that also is with pulse jet baghouses is the pulsing settings. A lot of times plants go back to just putting it on a timer only setting because they've either not had it set correctly with the clean on demand function, or because they didn't take care of the differential pressure readings, the differential pressure cleaning, as we say, didn't activate correctly. So then they blame that system and say, no, we don't like that. We're going to go back to the timer. And running the timer setting is just massively inefficient and causes a lot of problems with over cleaning of the filter bags, which is the majority of the wear that you have in your bags, not the dirt coming in, it's the cleaning. And also just the amount of wasted compressed air because the bags are just being pulsed all day, every day. Those are some of the most common ones we see. And then the third one I would say is not having good records of what you have in the system. So especially the filter bags and the cages. A lot of plants just have a random part number from the last person they ordered them from, and they don't have it written down anywhere what bags go in, or they only have some of it. For example, they might only have the length and the rough diameter of the bag, the nominal diameter, but they don't have the tube sheet hole size written down. They don't have the exact filter media specification written down. Or even they have a nominal filter diameter, meaning they just took a bag and went, that looks like 6 inches. But maybe over the years, they've always just measured it that way. Maybe originally the bag was 5.5, and then the first time they ordered, the guy measured it, it's like, it looks like 5 5/8. And then the next time the guy did it, went, it looks like 5 7/8. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger. We call that size drift. We see that a lot, where a lack of clear records of what parts, what sizes things are, it really limits the plants in planning their maintenance, being able to get the best prices for replacement parts because they're locked into ordering something with somebody else who hides that information from them, or just not knowing which filters go in which units and sometimes getting them mixed up. If I could give one piece of advice to managers, plant teams, I would say invest the time to learn how baghouses work, not only for yourself, but also for your team. So many problems come because there's a lack of knowledge. And it's understandable. If you're running a plant, you might have dozens of different technologies running in there, things that actually make stuff for you. And when that happens, the baghouse is often viewed as a nuisance, as the last thing, right? But so many times, plants are held back in both their production amounts, their quality control, and pollution control, safety, so many things because of their dust collector. So when it goes down or has a problem, everything comes grinding to a halt and nobody knows how to handle it. A lot of plants also make the mistake of just relying on so-called institutional knowledge, or what we call here old man Bill knowledge, where they just kind of keep repeating the same things that old-timers have told them over the years and take it as gospel. Now, there's nothing wrong with institutional knowledge. In fact, it's very valuable. However, there's a couple of things we find with that is that often the person who had the institutional knowledge, you don't exactly remember very clearly what he told you. So you actually have changed what he told you all those years ago. Sometimes they have information, habits, tactics, whatever, that are not ideal, and they pass those on. Or it could be that the advice that they gave was correct at the time, but in recent years, the technology has changed, new technology has been developed, and that old institutional knowledge that they were passing on no longer applies or is not the best way to handle something nowadays. So for all those reasons, you get stuck in these situations where because somebody says, oh, that's how we've always done it, or, well, we understand it this way, and you get stuck in these old, inefficient ways of doing things that really hold you back. So having accurate knowledge from a dust collector expert, a system OEM like ourselves, where we design, build, and install systems, as well as troubleshooting, repairing systems. Having knowledge from someone like us, where it's accurate, correct, that's going to be super valuable. And that will help you have the tools to resolve a lot of the problems before you even talk to us. So we always recommend including together system audits or plant audits with training for your people. And here's the reason why. A lot of times we identify in the system audit problems, a system that's undersized, this system is damaged, this system needs to be reconfigured. But the majority of the problems we identify usually go back to improper operation, maintenance, or perhaps something that has been modified or changed since it was originally installed. So when we combine the two things together, we have the system audit usually the first day of our visit, and then when we have the training, we're able to address both things at the same time. The physical installed problem, but also the operations, maintenance perspective that needs to be corrected. And we find that by combining them together, it also benefits the training because when we go into the class, we already know what a lot of the problems are that we have at the facility. But then over the couple of hours that we do training and the discussions that happen as we go through the material, we often find a lot more information about what's really happening out in the plant. What kind of maintenance tasks really take place? How do they really respond when this happens? Because we might have information from management that says, oh, when this happens, we do X. But then after talking to the people in the course, we might hear, well, actually, when X happens, we do Y, not Z. And all of that together is just a wealth of knowledge for everybody. And then the report that we issue at the end brings all of that information, super valuable information, together in one place. So then we can present to management, here's things we found, here's things we confirm by speaking with your people, and here are things you can physically change, and here's other things that you can change in how you operate, how you train, how you educate, how you instruct your people. And they can benefit from all of the comprehensiveness, let's say, or they can put in place a comprehensive solution and not just look at it as, oh, I need to fix this machine, I need to change this. They can see the big picture of, oh, here's what we really need to do to change how things work here for the better. I'd say what makes Baghouse.com different from other providers is that we're the comprehensive solution. So our company, we have experience on all ends of it. So from the design side of things, designing complete systems, so from the ductwork hood to the ductwork, all the way to the baghouse, to the exhaust fan, to the controls, to the sensors, monitors, airlocks, conveying systems. We have the capability to design all of that. We also have, because we're a OEM, the ability to supply the equipment, right? And we're not limited to just a couple of designs. Something that a lot of customers unfortunately run into is working through sales rep organizations, and some sales rep organizations are fantastic, don't get me wrong. But we avoid a lot of their limitations because a lot of times they're limited to only selling equipment that they rep. So they might not have every kind of dust collector available. They might have only one. And that unfortunately sometimes leads them to suggest things that they offer, but it's not really the best solution for your problem because they don't have the capability to supply the best solution for your problem. They only sell minivans, and what you need is a pickup truck. So some of the nicer ones will tell you, well, you should really go somewhere else, buy a pickup truck. But unfortunately, some will try to convince you that a minivan will work, and it's just not good. Another problem is because we specialize in dust collection, that's our thing. We specialize in that. We have institutional experience for almost 40 years. You talk to us, we're going to be able to find a solution to your problem and give you an explanation of why. When you work through other companies, sometimes you get only basically a product out of a book because it's part of a huge supply of things that they sell, and they're not really experts at any of it. So that might work in some cases, but when you really have a technical need, if you call us, we're going to find the problem, we're going to be able to explain what's happening and give you multiple solutions, and then also offer the solution to you. If you go with other companies, a lot of times they can just kind of throw their hands up and go, well, it should be working. And the other thing that I think really sets us apart is our focus on providing complete solutions and educating you along the way. So when you speak with us, we like to say we don't sell products, we sell solutions. And what we mean by that is when you call us and say, I need a new dust collector for this application. I need 3 dust collectors here. What you'll get from us is, instead of saying, okay, how many dust collectors, what size, here's the price for those 3 dust collectors. What you'll get from Baghouse is we will say, okay, can you explain the situation? What's happening? And as you explain it to us, we'll start analyzing what the situation is. And we'll often tell you, well, you might only actually need 1 here. Or, if you just rework your ductwork, you can actually utilize your existing system and not have to buy a new one. So we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, but our approach is always look for the best solution for the customer and then provide what's asked. So at the end of the day, if you ask us for a new system, we're going to give you that. But we're always going to try to find the best option that makes the most sense financially for you and in a practical terms. If money is the most important because we have budgets to respect, we're going to offer options that are the most cost effective. If having the absolute best equipment, highest throughput, most reliable kind of system is what you're looking for, we're going to offer you solutions for that as well. But because we have that whole range that we offer and that experience of doing things from A to Z, you're going to be able to get whatever you need from us that fits your needs, your budget, your goals. We're not going to pigeonhole you into just, this is what we sell kind of mentality that unfortunately a lot of other representative organizations and other resellers of equipment unfortunately offer to people. To a potential customer, I would say, look at our website and see what our experience has enabled us to achieve with other customers. Talk to us and see the difference of hearing someone explain something in plain terms, like a real person, and not overcomplicating things just to make it complicated. And look at our quotes, our proposals, and see that they're comprehensive, they cover everything that you need. And then look at the bottom line and see that we're offering a good value, comprehensive solution, and we're willing to work with you to find exactly what you need and also give you a roadmap to implement it. If you do that, I'm confident that you're going to see that we're the best option for you.